Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Charlotte Canion. We do hope you enjoyed today's show.
I'm Charlotte Canion, your host, and I'm an award-winning author of the book You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying: How to Parent Your Parents. And it's my pleasure this evening to interview Cheryl King. Now, Cheryl King is a renowned author. Welcome to the show, Cheryl.
Thank you so much, Charlotte.
Uh, in this first segment, I'd love for our listeners to know a little bit about your background and your family life and maybe where you went to school and all, and then tell us kind of why you got into writing and when you knew that you were going to be an author.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Houston, and I knew I was going to be a writer from early on. I remember, I think in third grade, we had to write a story, and I remember the story that I wrote, and I was so proud of it. And so I knew it was something that I wanted to do. And then life takes its twists and turns. And I did end up majoring in journalism in college. And I worked in newspaper. I did editing mostly, and then some design. And then I fell into the teaching world. And so right now, I'm a dyslexia therapist at an elementary school, and I do writing on the side, and that's about it.
Well, are you married? Do you have children?
Oh, yes. My family. Yes. I'm married, and I have two sons. My oldest one just started college, and my youngest one just started high school. But we have a pet cat who I hope you're not hearing all his noises in the background. Okay, this pitiful kitten showed up on our property recently, starving and crying, and it took us a while to lure him to us so that we could give him food and water. And eventually we took him in, and now he's a spoiled member of the family.
Oh. Now, you said you majored in journalism. Can you tell us some interesting stories when you were in college, and maybe something about your professor, or maybe one of your first stories?
Well, I can tell you that in college, I got involved with the college newspaper. And so that group was a crazy group. We kind of really became a family, and we would hang out in the news office all night, of course, working on the paper. And there were a bunch of characters. I have found some pictures from back then, and there was one, and I don't even remember how it came about, but I was wearing a large snake around my neck, a pet snake, somebody's pet snake. And, we would, after we put the paper to bed, so to speak, we would, go out to House of Pies or IHOP. And it was really a great time. It was stressful with deadlines and such, but we had a great time, and we learned a lot.
So do you attribute the fact that you're a writer now to some of the things that happened in journalism? Because I know in college it's totally different than when you get out in the real world.
It is. And, because I like writing so much, I thought, I'll be a reporter. But I am too much of an introvert to hound people to get answers to things, so I really did not enjoy those classes when we had to write stories. I really enjoyed the editing part, and that's where I started to shine. And so I was a copy editor for many years. And I guess it's one reason why I like writing books, is that I can stay secluded while I write, but then I have to be terrified that people are going to actually read my writing.
So you're one of those quiet writers that imagines your story. Now, have you? I like I said, I wasn't able to connect with you, but have you? How many articles have you written through the years, or have you kept track of that?
Well, so when I got into the newspaper business, I was strictly doing copy editing. But so my first job was at the Corpus Christi Caller-Times. And when you're a copy editor there, you also design pages, but I was never a reporter. However, when I moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and I worked at the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, I had some opportunities to write a few things. And I got to get involved in a blog for moms. It was called Mom to Mom. I'm not sure if they still have that. That's been so many years ago. It's hard to remember back that far. So, and now I forgot your question. I'm so sorry.
Well, okay, back onto the blogs for moms. Did you start that, or had someone else and you just joined?
Mom to Mom, no, the newspaper started that, and they got a few of us who worked in the features department, and there were some other reporters who contributed, and I enjoyed that. Blogging is another one of those things where I can do that without bothering anybody. I can do that secluded and be able to write, and it was a lot of fun. And I got to use, pictures of my sons back then. My sons were babies, so especially the older one. So I got to use them for some things, some pictures and things and ideas for the Mom to Mom blog.
So that you got pictures of your kids in the paper.
Mm-hmm. Definitely the first one. I don't think when I had the second one, that was when I was transitioning to be a teacher. So.
Got you. Well, this has been special. We're going to take a commercial break right now and let our sponsors do their thing.
Hi, my name is Elle Ballard, and I'm the founder of Women of the World Network, a supportive entrepreneurial community of multinational women. I'm excited to announce we have second series launching for our anthology, Recipes for Body, Mind, and Soul, on April 7th. If you'd like to participate in any of our future anthologies or just check out our community, visit womenoftheworldnetwork.com.
Welcome to B4R.store, a bookstore for indie readers and indie authors, where indie authors can earn their fair share from the books you purchase. We have a wide variety of genres that you can select from. We also have ebooks and paperbacks. You can select authors by their first names, and we also have music. If you're interested in their city or country, we have that listed as well. If you are an author and would like to be on our bookstore, we have 3 options for you. There is a small minimal charge, or you can join our organization at authorsmarketing.org and learn how to better market and sell yourself. That is B4R.store, a bookstore for indie readers and indie authors.
Hi, I'm Charles Brakefield.
And I'm Rox Berkey.
Together, we write as Brakefield and Berkey.
Our techno thriller series is 12 books strong, with book 13, The Enigma Tracer, planned for 2022.
Techno thrillers are the cyber good guys versus today's darknet thugs.
We added our series prelude, Out of Poland, a 1939 historical novella, in 2021.
We also have 8 short stories available in family and women's contemporary genres, with more planned for 2022.
Please visit our website, enigmaseries.com, to learn more about why we say technology is today's weapon of choice. Thank you.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Charlotte Canion. We do hope you enjoyed today's show.
Well, welcome back. It's my pleasure to be speaking with Cheryl King. Cheryl, in this segment, let's talk a little bit more about your book. Tell us the title and what inspired you to write the book.
All right, it is called Sitting on Top of the World, and it actually came about a little bit by accident. I have been enjoying doing some flash fiction writing contests for the past few years, and I got this idea for one. And so my book actually started out as an idea for a 1,000 word flash fiction story. I was building it around this character, this June Baker, who's a spunky and lovable, determined teenage girl during the Great Depression, going off on this journey, hopping trains, trying to find work to help her family. And this idea just kind of grew in my mind, and I kept building and building. And the 1,000 words turned into 25 chapters.
Now, did you fashion your main character after anybody you know, or is it maybe an alter ego of yourself, since you said you are bashful?
I think that June is kind of a compilation of characters that I've seen in movies or read in books, maybe with a little bit of what I would like to be thrown into it, because June is much braver than I am.
So you would like to be brave. Well, tell us a little bit more about June. I'm sure people want to know about your main character.
Yeah, well, she is equal parts sweetness and sass. She's naive, but at the same time, she's wise. She is spunky. She's able to look past all the things that are going wrong and find joy and hope, even in the hard times. And that's one thing I really love about her. She has this innocence, but she's able to speak her mind.
And that's what you'd like to do, huh?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. Man, if I could count the times when I wasn't able to come up with a snappy comeback until hours later, boy, yeah, there'd be a lot of those.
That's it. Can you tell us one of her most adventuresome, or something from the book, a little bit about her adventure?
Okay, let me think about how to do that without giving things away. All right, so when she makes the decision to take this risk to go off to a hobo camp and then hop onto a freight train, she and her best friend decide that it would be too dangerous for her to go as she is. She needs to disguise herself as a boy, a man, so that she's not a target. And so she goes to her best friend's house, and her best friend helps her. She cuts her hair. She brings out some men's clothes for her to wear, a hat, and so June is showing off her new look and trying to see if she can fool anyone, trying to walk like a man, and how's this, and then move like a man. And her friend says, well, that's great, but you still sound like a girl. You're gonna have to lower your voice. So she tries. She digs way down deep. Okay, how's this? And her friend laughs and says, maybe you just shouldn't talk. So she agrees it would be better to just not talk. But so they go in her new male disguise and see if they can fool someone they know from town. And that's kind of a funny little scene there.
So do you have a lot of comedy in your book?
I think I do. I like to, you know, intertwine some comic relief, because the overall tone of the book is, well, there's that hope. There's always hope underneath it, but there's a lot of disaster. You know, it's during the Great Depression. There's a lot of bad things going on, and June deals with a lot of tragedies in her life. And so there has to be some humor, and there has to be some of those really light moments and scenes to balance out the sorrow that is there as well.
Well, since she's the heroine of your book, are there other characters that come in and out that you could tell us a little about their character?
Let me tell you about her brother, because her brother is very important. His name is Joseph, but June calls him Josie. When she was younger, she couldn't say Joseph. So Josie stuck, and he's Josie to her. And so she looks up to him. Josie is a really good big brother. He teaches her to be strong, and he teaches her about life, and he takes her places and helps her. One thing she says about him is that people always try to make girls feel small and like they can't do anything, but Josie makes me feel like a giant. He always has. So she is very grateful for her brother, and she's very extremely worried when he goes off train hopping to bring money back to the family, when they're really struggling to keep the farm alive because they're behind on mortgage, and bad things are happening. So that's a big event in the book, when he goes off, and June is left scared to death that something's going to happen to him. She's never been without him.
Now, you talked a little bit about their stature. I'd like to be able to visualize, give me a description of, of Josie and June, their stature, their size difference, and, what would I visualize?
Well, I really try to write my description so that the reader kind of has control of that, and they can picture what they want. But here's what they look like in my mind. June is petite. She one comment she makes is when she's trying on the men's clothes and she's trying to look like a boy, she says that she's actually grateful right now that she's flat-chested, because that makes the disguise a lot easier. So she's a petite girl with long brown hair, and Josie is, he's not a huge guy. He's a little bit, about 4 years older than her, 3 to 4 years older than June. And they just they live on a farm with their parents, and they look like your typical, maybe tan complexions in the summertime, because they're out helping and working on the farm. And I picture kind of little dusty, dirty hair, just from all the outdoors work that they do. And I don't know, I picture them to be super cute, of course.
Well, of course we want cute characters.
Yeah.
And they travel alone, right? And they each travel.
Yes.
So they do their traveling alone.
Mm-hmm. Now, sorry about that. When Josie is out on the rails, he teams up with some people that he meets, and that help him kind of learn the ropes of riding the rails. and he brings those friends home with him when he comes back. But yeah, when June goes out, she's on her own at first.
Well, this has been fascinating. I know it's going to be a wonderful book. We're going to let our sponsors take a break.
Each and every one of us has a mission in life. Mine is to help people laugh through the good times and the bad. My name is Charlotte Canion, and I am an author, a speaker, and a host on Indie Beacon Radio. If you need me to speak at an event or autograph my book, you can contact me at charlotte@charlottecanion.com. Thank you, and have a blessed day.
Authors Marketing International, a membership-based organization where members learn how to better market and sell themselves. Join us at authorsmarketing.org. Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new books by indie authors. Your hostess for today's show is Charlotte Canion. We do hope you enjoyed today's show.
Well, Cheryl, this has been fascinating hearing a little bit about your book. Do you have conceived that you might make a series out of this or a second book, or are you working on something else? And if you are, tell us a little bit about that and when you might be releasing it. And then you can share with our listeners, your website and how people can get your book and where they can find you.
Certainly. I am absolutely working on a sequel. The words in the sequel are not spilling out quite as quickly as the words in the first book did. I was hoping to have it done this summer, but I'm not very close to that at all. Hopefully within the next year, I'll have that out. And right now, other than that, I do have some ideas spinning for a young adult dystopian story. And I apologize. That was the cat. Yes. Okay. I'm so sorry. Let me tell you about my website. I have an author website. It's CherylKingWritesThings.com. And readers can purchase a signed copy of Sitting on Top of the World if they would like to from my website. And then I also have a blog on there and some other things. The audiobook is also available on Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. I have social media pages on Facebook. Readers can find Cheryl King Writes Things. On Twitter, I'm at @CKingAuthor. And I have ventured into TikTok, but I wouldn't say I'm an expert at that particular app.
Did you say that you have an audiobook? Did you record it yourself?
I did not. I actually found a wonderful narrator named Whitney Dykehouse. I found her I used ACX, and she's fabulous. She reads June exactly as I hear her in my mind when I read the book.
Well, that's wonderful. One of the things I do like to ask my authors is if you were speaking to someone who, they could be young or they could be old, but they're going to write their first book, what advice would you give them? Where would you tell them to start? And, how would you tell them to think about their story?
most people I think answer, well, read a lot. And so that's kind of a given. Okay, that aside, I would say make sure you're part of a really good critique group. I met some great people doing some flash fiction contests. The one in particular that I do most of the time is called NYC Midnight, and they do short story and flash fiction challenges all the time. And through that, I met a group of people, and now we have a group on Discord, and we workshop each other's work. And that is just such a great way to learn and improve your craft. And it comes in handy when you've got some ideas, or you have a draft and you need someone to take a look at it and give you some feedback.
Have you ever gotten, I think I call it brain lock, or where you can't go forward, and what has helped you out of that?
Absolutely, that happens all the time. And usually I say sleep on it. And I don't know if that works for everyone, but for me, for some reason, I come up with great ideas while I'm trying to go to sleep. And I just kind of dream up a scene, and then I can either hope that I'll remember it in the morning, or get up immediately and type it out before I forget.
That's great advice. Well, Cheryl, it has been a pleasure to interview you. And those of y'all, tell your website one more time, because there's some,
Okay.
Oh, and look at, there's the cat.
He is causing trouble today. CherylKingWritesThings.com.
Cheryl, thank you again for being on the show. And I just want to leave everyone with one last thought. Remember, a rose is like a book. You can't know its beauty until you look at it. And a book is like a rose. You won't know its full beauty until it's open. This is Charlotte Canion. Have a nice day.
Thank you for watching the Indie Beacon Show, produced by B. Allen Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International LLC. Copyright 2022. Voiceover by B. Allen Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please contact us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on this show, it is free to authors. Simply fill out the form at indiebeacon.com. The music is provided by Happy Follows. The music is entitled